guys! Today we're going to talk about adding integers. So last week we learned a lot about negatives and positives, and we learned how to compare them, and we learned how to put them in order. Today we're going to learn how to add them, and we're going to learn by modeling how to add them, okay? So this is not necessarily mental math, this is showing your math using a model, okay? So, let's take a look at what I'm talking about. So, example 1. We're going to be adding integers with the same sign. So, my example is going to be, let's add -2 plus -7. Okay, and notice that because I'm adding a -7, I had to put it in parentheses. If you might possibly see it somewhere else where it might look like plus negative without the parenthesis, but either way, you're adding a negative, okay? Because the sign right in front of the number goes to the number, okay? All right, and also notice that if there's a number in front with a negative, you have to apply that negative to that number, okay? That'll come into play a little bit later when we're looking at bigger numbers or longer addition problems. Okay, so let's take a look at this. In order to model, what we're going to do is I'm going to use a red pen to show that these are negatives, okay? So I'm going to draw, if we were in the classroom, we would have counters that had two sides. One would be red and one would be like a yellowish green. And so I'm going to use those colors to draw counters instead of using chips, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is look at my first number. And my first number is -2. So I have one negative chip, two negative chip. Okay? And then I have to add my second number, which is -7. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So now I have 1, 2 plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And since they are all negative, notice they're all negative, my answer is going to become -9 because I added 2 negatives to 7 negatives, or 2 reds to 7 reds, okay? So my answer becomes -9. All right. And then I'm going to show you that just so you can see it on the number line so you can understand why if we added it, it's still a negative. Okay. So since I'm working with negatives, I can put my 0 all the way on the right-hand side. So then I have -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7, -8, -9, okay? And remember, before I had the -2, I had nothing, so I start at 0, right? But I had a -2, so I start at 0, and I'm going to 2, okay? So that's -2. Notice how I'm graphing above. This is one of the reasons why I said we graph above the line. Okay, then I'm adding -7. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. -7. So when I have one line that has -2 plus -7, I get -9. Okay. So go ahead and try these on your own. Remember, you need to be modeling. Okay, remember, pause the video and then come back and hit play when you're ready. Okay, so for the first example, we have -2 plus -1, 2, 3. So how many negatives do I have? I have -5. All right, and then for the second one, remember, you're supposed to model. So now you need to draw some yellow or green chips. I have +4 plus +6. Okay, so I've modeled it. So 4 plus 6 equals 10. Okay, now we're going to model with a different, so that was with the same sign. Notice in both times our numbers have the same sign, -3, -2, +4, +6. Our first example was -2, -7. So notice that they were both the same sign. Now we're going to model when they have different signs. Different signs. All right, so let's take a look at our first example. Our first example is going to be 6 plus -6. So when I say different signs, I'm saying that each number has a different sign. This is a -6, and the 6 that's in front has no sign, so therefore it is just 6. Okay, so if we model this, first I'm going to use green to show my positive. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, now remember, you can draw the positives in there, but you should just know now that the green is positive, okay? And then I have -6. Okay, so there are 6 negatives. Well, look at the model and tell me, what do you think that is going to mean your answer is? If I have +6 and -6, and look at my model, what do you think happens? Hopefully, when you look at that, you see that what happens is the answer becomes 0. Okay, and I'm going to show you this on the number line so that you understand. Okay, here's your number line. Okay, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, notice I'm starting at 0 because I have nothing, and then I'm going to add 6 because it's a +6. So first, I start at 0, and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's plus 6. Now I'm at 6 and I'm going to take away 6. So I'm going to start here and I'm going to go the opposite direction, 6, because I'm going down because I have to take it away. So that's negative 6. Notice that I went all the way to 6, but then I came back to 0. So my answer is 0. Okay? So technically we just learned how to model not just with chips, but also with our number lines, okay? All right, so let's try a couple of samples. Okay, so the first one, let's say we're going to do that's 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so now go ahead and pause the video and try these on your own. And then once you've finished modeling them and you think you have the answers, come back, hit play, and you can watch me solve them, okay? All right, so hopefully you did pause and you're coming back now. So let's solve these. Okay, first one, I have a positive 2. So I'm going to draw 2 positives. Remember, green just means positive. I don't necessarily have to draw the pluses, but I'll do that time. Okay, and then I'm going to add negative 4. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4. And notice that I like to do it right above each other. Okay? And something that I do to help myself find the answer quicker is I cross off matches. So I have a pair, positive, negative, cross it off. I have a pair, positive, negative, cross it off. What am I left with? I'm left with negative 2 because I have 2 negatives left. So that's my answer. Okay, let's do another. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now I have 5 negatives, which are my reds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And just like in the first one, I'm going to cross off my pairs. So positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, no negative. I don't have a pair. So that means my answer is going to be 4 because I have 1, 2, 3, 4 positives that don't have a pair. Okay, last one for adding with different signs. I have 5 that are positive, 5 positive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I have 2 negative. 1, 2. Okay, easy peasy. I'm going to find my pairs, positive, negative, positive, negative. And notice that I'm left with 3 positives. Okay, those are your examples. Make sure that if you didn't do it while we were doing it in the video, you need to go back and make sure that you have this in your notes so that it will help you when you're working on today's practice assignment. Today's practice assignment is going to be a Google Slides activity where you're going to move chips and then you have to type your answer in the bottom right-hand corner, okay? So for each example, it's in a rectangle or a square box, and you have to move chips to it and show your modeling, and then you are going to find your answer. Make sure after you submit it, you check your comments after a little while to see if it's been graded. If it's not 100, check those comments. You can correct it and resubmit it.